The wilderness. Lent is the time when we go with Jesus into the desert, into the wilderness. Listen to what Suzanne Guthrie says about the wilderness. Why the wilderness? The phantasms of the self, so well camouflaged in the city, are exposed in the disorienting desert. You are left with yourself and your every weakness and vulnerability heightened in the extremes of the acute presence and or the acute absence of God. We've all been to different wilderness places in our life: the wilderness of illness, the wilderness of loss, the wilderness of failure, the wilderness of disillusionment. You can name your own. And yet it is in these places of poverty that we are most reliant on God. It is in these places when our own resources, our own willpower, our own strength utterly fails, that we most honestly and deeply cry out to God for help. It is in these places we are asked to travel with Jesus during Lent. It is perhaps here in the wilderness, with our comforts stripped away and human interventions useless, that we become most aware of our attachments, our longings. What is it that you grab at when you are in pain? What is it that you think you need, that you think you cannot live without? What is it that clutters the space of your mind and takes over your heart? What do you think you don't have enough of? What do you seek more of? We ask you this Lent to look at your desires, your thirsts, your longings, underneath of which are all a longing for God. It is here in our human vulnerability and frailness that we are most in solidarity with the poor. It is not in our self-sufficiency that we are one with the children at our border, but in our own helplessness. It is not in our abundance that we cry out for justice for the oppressed, but in our own poverty, our poverty of spirit. It is here in these places that we are with Jesus on the cross. The wilderness. It is rugged, dangerous, frightening, but we do not go alone. As we explore the depth of our longings this Lent, let us remember that Jesus is in the wilderness, traveling with us as companion and guide.